What movie could have been over in 10 minutes if the main character wasn't such a fool? Buttock Park if Hammond actually spared no expense. Hammond spared no expense. 15 minutes later he told you how many times we needed locking mechanisms on vehicle doors. How the duck do you have a T-Rex, but not locks on the car doors? Because they can't reach the door handles with their tiny arms. Pretty much anything on the Hallmark Channel. Wait, let me explain. Apostrophe. Him from the UK. Do they just show bottom of the barrel rom-coms? It's the bit that end up on the floor of your cellar. They have like 3 plots they rehash 20 times a season. Hey, would you look at that? The wealthy businessman fails to ruin Christmas thanks to a band of plucky small business owners. Must be a Christmas miracle. Don't forget that the main small business owner ends up finding true love with the wealthy businessman. You can also reverse it with a mean businesswoman being taught the meaning of Christmas by a folksy blue-collar man. Over the hedge. RJ decided to be a dum-dum and steal all of the bear's food. Like, what did he think would happen even if he didn't accidentally wake him up? The bear would still have woken up a week later and probably would known it was AskReddit. Although I suppose if RJ never stole the food he would still be a con man, and the forest animals likely would starve to death that year. So dang. I haven't heard someone reference Over the Hedge in years. Lol. They should make a crossover movie with Hoodwinked. Could have dueling super speed squirrels hopped up on caffeine. Idea. Hammy is the only one of the Oth characters who can understand Twitchy. Star Wars Episode 1. Not exactly 10 minutes. But Padme could have bought Anakin's mom and he would have probably never turned to the dark side. Republic credits may not be worth much on Tatooine, but I'm sure one of her jewel encrusted headdresses is. Or if anyone had asked Anakin how he was doing and if he wanted to talk. But the story of the prequels is essentially the old GD was stupid and kinda deserved it. Apostrophe. Aladdin. If Jafar would have just paid Aladdin what he promised him instead of betraying him at the cave, he would have had the lamp and become king, be mighty powerful. Aladdin just wanted his money in return for the lamp. For real. It's not like Aladdin would have been able to do anything about Jafar using the lamp. Right? But no. Jafar is the basest sort of villain. He's a lowly troll. He simply cannot resist an opportunity to screw someone over for his own sadistic amusement, even when it is directly counterproductive. He wasted time trying to get Aladdin to give up his only leverage, when he could have just pulled the man up and completed the deal. I guess you could argue that Jafar didn't want any witnesses, but A. He was wearing a disguise and Aladdin didn't know who he was. B. Who the duck would have believed Aladdin if he'd come forward, and C. He literally would have had command of a genie, so he shouldn't have needed to worry about those kind of small problems anyway. So I have to agree that yeah, he just wanted to screw someone over for the sake of screwing him over. I want to see this movie now. I mean, when Genie first came out of the lamp, he seemed to be expecting a master more like Jafar than Aladdin. Would have been interesting to see Robin Williams playing an evil genie, who eventually gets turned good when Aladdin steals the lamp and befriends him. School of Rock. Mrs. Mullins, can I see your ID, Mr. Sheebley? D. Sorry, I don't have it, Mrs. Mullins. Sorry, you won't be able to teach the kids unless you have proof you're a teacher / who you are. Credits. Hey man. She's under a lot of stress. You have no idea how angry these parents get. She wasn't always like this, you know. There was a time when she was fun. She was funny. But you can't be funny and be the principal of a prep school. These parents will come down on her like a nuclear bomb. Nuclear BAHMB. Any horror movie where your friends are dying one by one. After the third one, you say duck it and leave. Third, after one death I'm out of there and not coming back without the cops. I would too. But some people don't have common sense. They wait until the I can't believe this is happening to decide to run. If Mr. and Mrs. Bueller were anything like my parents, the movie would have been called Ferris Bueller's Day at School. If they were anything like my parents, they would have called my bluff, taken me to the doctor's office, and found out, to my own surprise as well, that I had bronchitis. That's how they found a nasty cyst in me once. I was like, I feel lethargic and awful. I'll tell mom my stomach feels churning and gross, which was unusual. I always missed school for puking and not just pain. So my mom called the nurse hotline. The nurse told my mom to jab me in the stomach until one of the places hurt worse than the others. It hurt the worst near my appendix, so they did an ultrasound. Ultrasound revealed I have a tiny but healthy appendix and a serious number of ovarian cysts. So now I don't second guess the is this sick? Do I feel sick? Feeling. If my body is saying bad news bears when I wake up, a lot of the time it's right. Edit, if you're coming in here just to pity party about how you can't tell the difference between real sick and just uncomfortable, and I'm somehow lucky for being able to do the basic skill of is this feeling new or not new, this isn't the comment to do it on. I get nauseated in the morning. I have paranoia when I don't take my antipsychotic. I'm just like you. Stop. This past New Year's I didn't have any days off left, so I decided to call in sick so I could party for 9. Sick days are paid if I get a doctor's note. Woke up New Year's Day hungover as all hell. Worse than I have ever been. I'm talking body feels as feeble as a 12-year-old girl. Whatever. Go into the local urgent care to get a doctor's note. Described my current symptoms. Feeling sweaty and weak. Turns out I had influenza B. Got to miss the entire rest of the work week. That's the worst hangover I've ever heard of. Love your username. By the way. The main antagonist in Suicide Squad is a member of the team, Enchantress, who turned out to be evil and gains power thanks to some magic MacGuffin that the lady running the team uses to control her. Literally the entire plot of Suicide Squad wouldn't have happened if they didn't bother buttombling the ducking Suicide Squad. Voila, I have an idea. We start a team of supervillains and use them to do our dirty work. Government guy who would authorize this? No. The end. If Superman turned evil, who would stopped him? Great idea. Let's form a team that definitely cannot stop Superman. No Country for Old Men, never go back to the scene of the crime. Also, if you find a duffel bag full of cash and decide to keep it, check it for tracking devices. Take the cash. Leave the duffel bag. Now Llewellyn and Carla are living comfortably in an isolated Idaho ranch they paid cash for. Edit, I'm aware the tracker was in a wad of cash. In my version, Moss leaves that stack in the truck with the dead guy. Quit ruining my fantasy of the Mosses living happily ever after. Take the cash out and replace it with cannabis. As long as they are good cannabis, nobody will even be that mad. Sure, we are out a few million, but damned if those weren't the best desert duffel bag cannabis I've ever had. Apostrophe. Sleeping Beauty on edge. We should invite Maleficent to our daughter's christening. I know she's the mistress of evil, but it would probably end up worse for us if we don't invite her. Apostrophe. And then Maleficent insisted on one-upping the good fairies by giving Aurora the best gift, not having to experience the horrors of the real world. PFFT. Yes. Give her an actually useful gift. I'll give you the gift of song ducking, useless gift. Don't swim to the drop-off. Nemo. Okay, dad credits. That was the most predictable reaction for a kid his age though. Molin shouldn't have put him down in front of his new friends and been so rude about his fin. That should have been a private conversation. Exactly. Nemo was always going to swim off because Molin was overprotective for his entire life, and putting him down when he wasn't otherwise going to swim out was the final straw. Conversely, Molin was always going to do that because he lost his wife and kids to the Barracuda and wanted to protect his only remaining son. What I'm saying is free will doesn't exist. But seriously, this question sometimes misses the fact that characters' actions, though sometimes stupid, may be consistent with who the characters are. I just want to thank you for bringing up that last part. So many times I read, not hear or anything, that stories or characters are ruined by poor writing, when it's legit just as you said, characters being themselves. People care more about plot than characters, because plots are easy with proper planning. Realistic characters actually require skill and creativity. Not the main character, but Star Wars. The Empire grabs Leia's ship and the droids escape in a capsule. There's no life forms. Hold your fire. No. Wait. droids exist in this universe and could be carrying those plans Vader wants. Let's pull that ship in, or dispatch some TIE fighters to intercept it or something. A short time later, sir, we pulled apart those droids. The golden one was useless, but the astromech had the plans. Vader, excellent. You will be rewarded for this. Apostrophe. Why did I imagine Vader saying excellent like Mr. Burns? Actually, if you think about underneath the suit, Mr. Burns is a great nickname for him. Sick burn, my dude. Yes, he's familiar with them. Emperor's New Groove Isma originally says that she could just turn him into a flea, put that flea in a box, put that box into another box, and eventually send it to herself so she could smash it with a hammer. Then she says to save on postage, she'll just use poison, which ends up not being poison. Even if she went with the original plan, he'd be a flea, and, for all intents and purposes, out of the picture pretty instantly. Isma ducked herself trying to save like a quarter. Or if Cusco wasn't a fool and saw past Isma, or wasn't an hole to everyone, which helped push the whole let's get rid of him mentality. I feel like the job of Emperor is sort of like hole to everyone. Sure, but destroying a village to make a water park is going too far. I feel like as far as Emperors go, that's pretty innocent. Gone with the Wind. If Ashley had just told Scarlett in plain English that he loved Melanie, then Scarlett would have given up chasing him. Instead he would say things like, "She's like me, we're blood, they were cousins, we understand each other," etc. Scarlett misinterpreted that to mean he didn't love her, but was marrying her for other reasons. It wasn't until the end, that after Melanie died, that Scarlett realized Ashley loved Melly and not her. She wasted years of her life on something that could have been cleared up with a simple phrase. I don't know about where you live, but expecting rich southerners to speak plain English to one another when doing so is sure to lead to public unpleasantness is slightly unrealistic. Bless your heart. 28 days later. How about we don't let the diseased rage monkey out of the cage? And with 28 weeks later, they really should have kept Don's wife locked up better. Seriously, how the hell is there zero security protocol concerning a known carrier of the virus? He just walks right in. You're asking this during a pandemic in which people refuse to wear masks. The general American public, yeah, this was in a NATO facility. Don't reopen the beach for the holiday weekend in Jaws. Jaws is a perfect allegory for the coronavirus. We need to close the beach / we need to lock down and isolate, but we'll lose too much money, and anyway the shark / coronavirus isn't a big deal, a bunch of dead people later. In Jaws 2, Murray Hamilton is still the mayor. That guy ducked up the beaches in Jaws 1 and is still mayor in the second one. Rinth Edge. Mom. Mark here. I'm sorry, it didn't work out. I'm being evicted. Can I go home again? Credits. Oh, hey, I need to pay rent? Sure. Sounds fair to me. Let me go get a job. Apostrophe. Oh, it's not selling out if I'm just spending 8 hours a day making money to fund my budget. That's just a thing normal people do. And also filming homeless people and AIDS victims, sometimes without their knowledge and permission, is ducking awful budget to have. Huh, who knew? Selling out is compromising your art for profit. Working a day job in your duckine field is not selling out. Mark, you enormous twat waffle. God, I hate rent. Home Alone. Yes, just forget about one of your kids. Home Alone 2. Congratulations on learning from your mistakes and managing to get your kid to the airport this time. And has gone. CPS, yeah. Most people don't lose their kid once a year. We're gonna come over and see what's up. To be fair, they went to lengths to explain how he was forgotten so that it didn't rely on pure stupidity. Tons of people in the family making it a crowd, Kevin's plane ticket being lost in the trash, Kevin being sent to sleep up in the attic instead of among everyone else, the family waking up late so they have to rush to the airport as fast as possible, the girl doing the head count to make sure all the kids were accounted for unknowingly tapped the neighbor kid's head, resulting in a full count, maybe more. It's been a while since I've seen it. Also, All the kids were in all-in couch, while the parents were first clubbut, which meant that they didn't notice Kevin being missing until they landed. They noticed in flight. Mom screamed Kevin. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you want more videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. You are helping me a lot. Thanks again.